Come on, let's go.
Hurry up.
I was grabbing a beer.
Welcome to PorchTlk, the podcast where two friends just talk about some things. And I will say, there's a rebrand coming soon, very soon, along the way. I'm Eric.
Ezra, Brock Road Elementary, class of '06, valedictorian.
We got a couple coals in the fire, stoves. I don't know. I don't remember what the saying is, but we got some
I
stuff
think it's
cooking
cold.
up, and this is actually legit. I know we say this often, but I think we actually we're
Yeah,
figuring things out for once.
this is the biggest rebrand in PorchTlk history.
It is
Biggest
season
rebrand.
four. Several years into it, we finally decided to pick a niche and
Many hosts,
dedicate to it.
many a co-host have come and gone, and this is the biggest rebrand to come.
Yes. Speaking of co-host gone, I think you can tell Morgan is no longer with the cast in an official capacity. I'll let Ezra speak more on that as the
Yeah,
CEO of the cast.
it didn't get as messy as you guys want to know. It wasn't another suspension going wrong this time. She fell under the weather. Work stuff started to pick up. She's pursuing her career, so nothing, nothing that we don't support. Um, we lost another one, and we are now recruiting for the next. And when I say that, I'm lying. We're just gonna run it with two now.
Yeah. Running with two. We got some cool stuff. If you're a fan of some of the newer stuff we've been doing, bringing back the trivia cast, bringing back the Reddit stories, confessions, like we got some cool stuff coming down the road for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can if Trivia Cast comes back, no spoilers, no spoilers. I'm gonna try to be in an element where I can really be in the zone. Cigars are coming out, the liquor is coming out. This is going to be Trivia Cast the way it's intended to be
God. Yeah.
if it comes back.
If it comes back, if you haven't seen the most recent trivia cast, it's I mean, recording it was probably one of the longest podcasts we've done in a while, one of the craziest podcasts we've done in a while.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
it's not trivia cast that people aren't yelling, getting angry, questioning the questions. So good time overall. All right. It's been a little bit since we recorded. I think in that between that time, you had potentially moved to Maryland, not moved to Maryland, moved somewhere else, moving again, firing people, hiring people. There's been a lot of movement in your life
lot,
specifically.
lot of movement. People have been fired. People are in the process of getting hired. Did moved relocated to Cleveland without fully relocating because still have the spot down in Charlotte. Thought we might have to go to Baltimore. Didn't have to go to Baltimore. Will reside in Cleveland. Have locked down a sweet apartment in the heart of downtown Cleveland. Don't want to give too much. Can't tell you where it's near, but just know it's the heart of downtown Cleveland. And the location is priceless.
Priceless is like a generous statement because it was not a cheap apartment, if I remember correctly.
It was not. It's not. But you only live in the heart of the city once in your lifetime. So we'll do this for like a year and a half or so, year and a half, and then we'll go retire back down south.
Back south, you mean North Carolina?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I
Big
would consider
north.
North Carolina the South, especially Charlotte, but that's just me.
Well, you said what?
I said I don't think I would consider North Carolina, specifically Charlotte, the South, but that might just be me.
Nah, that's the south. That's North Carolina. It don't get more south. That we're like South Carolina. We're like right on the border, and it's southern as hell down here.
Mm.
Ooh.
So exciting news. We'll have to pop out to Cleveland officially now. It's
Yeah,
probably
nah, we got some things in the works for real. Finished furniture shopping, decor shopping this weekend. Everything's locked and loaded. We'll probably be settled in like the very next day. That's the type of people we are.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Are you gonna
When
have
you
to
move to Charlotte,
drive?
no, I'm actually gonna fly. But that's because I'm gonna be in Atlanta that week leading up to the move. So I'm just gonna fly
Ooh,
from Atlanta back to Cleveland. Her parents are gonna drive the U-Haul with her back up to Cleveland from Charlotte. It's like 7 hours, 7.5 hours.
damn!
But
Shout
I've
out
been
to
up a
them.
few times now.
Yeah, I think that was. Oh, I forgot you came and visited and stayed on this very bed back there.
Yeah, I was back there vibing.
Um, when I found out that you drove from Cleveland to Maryland and then were driving back, I was like, "What? You just
Yeah.
love to drive. You love the hustle."
Yeah. Sometimes I just don't want to have to deal with the airport. I don't want the idea of the plane being delayed. I know I can like just vibe, relax when I'm driving. If I'm in the airport, I'm still in meetings. People are still calling me, this, that, and the third, unless it's like the hour and a half flight time. In the car, they know like I'm in the car, so they gotta leave me alone.
Damn. So it's really just you escaping your job. You're like, I will drive the 7 hours so no one bothers me for 7 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
Easily. Let me see
that
something.
makes sense. That makes sense. All right. We got a couple topics here. We got two specific stories that we saw that were pretty crazy that we want to share with everybody else. Give our opinions. Let the people in the comments. If you have any opinions on these, you can let us know as well. The first one, a 28-year-old woman from Yonkers, which is in New York, if you're not tapped in, is
Yeah,
suing two DNA testing companies after saying that the results that she had led to one of the hardest decisions of her life, ending a pregnancy that she actually wanted. Here's what we're looking at. This lady and her fiance have been trying to conceive, but it just wasn't working. Things were getting like really contentious because of that. And they ended up breaking up for a short period of time. During that period of time, she had a fling just one time with someone else, had sex, they used a condom, whatever. She gets back with her fiance, and then couple like soon after she finds out that she's pregnant. And she was pretty sure. She was like, "This like I used a condom. My fiance has to be the father." But she was like, "I want to just take a DNA test just to be sure, like just so I have this clarity in my mind." She takes one the first time. They don't come back, and like it's very inconclusive. And then she goes to a second place called DNA Diagnostic Center, which
I
is
know
like
DNA
they market
diagnostics.
they, they market themselves as like the top like global place for DNA testing. And she was like, they're like, we got this, we'll handle this. She finds out on Halloween, 20 weeks into her pregnancy, that the lab said that the other man was the father with 99.99% certainty.
That'll do it.
She's in New York, 24-week abortion deadline, and believing that her fiance wasn't the father, she ended up making the decision to terminate the pregnancy. And then she had to come clean to her partner, which ended the relationship because, yeah, she had it. They were broken up, but another man was the father. Months later, she found out that the test was wrong. So now she's suing both the labs, the original one and the diagnostic one, claiming emotional trauma, loss of relationship, which all really could have been avoided if they had just done their fucking jobs correctly.
I'm not gonna lie. That is a ton to unpack. First thing to unpack, 20 weeks is 5 months. I just want people to be aware of that. That is a
Damn,
5 month long pregnancy. Babies
I
are
didn't even think
born
about that.
preemie at 6 months and live. That is a 5 month pregnancy in which pro abortion, anti abortion, whatever you are, just keep in mind that was a 5 month in the process. That's a little crazy. But outside of that, they were on a break, so it's not like she cheated. And it was said that she used protection, so it's like she tried to still be safe. The abortion, nobody put a gun to her head and made her do that. Like it was her choice. It was a choice she did. So I think her base is maybe a little loose, but she was told by two different companies that it was 99% not her fiance's. So that is a massive discrepancy in which she might be able to sue. I don't think it'd be like malpractice. I don't think it's fraud of any sort, but some sort of like neglect, I'm sure. Or like there's probably some sort of neglect that goes into being that wrong.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they just had the wrong test results and gave her the wrong test results of some sort.
From what it seemed like they were saying, like, she was testing with the guy that she had slept with. They were saying that it was him. I don't it didn't get into the details of, like, what went
Mm,
wrong because I feel like they probably don't want to, like, openly admit that
yeah.
they fucked up in that manner because that opens you up to more, but
She probably, in my opinion, she has no case on the abortion aspect of, well, it's two parts. She has no case since like she did this on her own fruition. Like nobody made her do this. She chose to do this. It's her right, whatever. But I think she may have a loose case on I did this under the conceived notion that it was this scenario, and you guys led me to believe this with alarming statistics. Your
yeah.
statistics were 100% wrong, which then caused me pain and suffering, and this, that, and the third. She might be able to get him there. Mm. I would actually probably settle if I was them, because I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah.
this is news you want coming out. Like it's probably not good advertisement for your, or good publicity for your company that people rely on for things of that nature.
Yeah, especially being touted as, like, a global leader in DNA testing and then
Yeah, that
saying, "We're
that
99.99% chance you're right," like,
yeah, they use that one on paternity court. No, no, no. Like they might have been wrong all along.
do they really?
Yeah,
Shit. Yeah. I was, one, I didn't even think about when you just said that 20 weeks is 5 months pregnant.
yeah,
Like,
just like yeah.
god damn, that's crazy. I'm almost like so the first one's inconclusive. The second one you're saying that's, like, it's certainty, like, I guess you have to make a decision, like, you wouldn't wanna carry this other man's child if that's what you're under the belief of, but also, like, you wore a condom, like, unless you had reason to believe that he did it because you were so certain that it was your fiance, but you just wanted to, like, double check, like, do you just roll the dice and just hope, like, it kinda goes out of your mind with that? Is that
Can't roll the
crazy?
dice. Yeah, it'd be crazy.
I mean, and then she ended up telling him losing the relationship anyway and losing the child to find out that they were wrong. And also, how does she find out they were wrong? Does she, like, double back? Like, I can you, like, give me more info? Like, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know where we are in like that woman's body, woman, my body, my choice type stuff, but like I think we've all wondered at some point, if you're a man, if you're a woman, you're probably telling men to shut up because whatever, but I don't buy into that. Saying that like men don't get opinions on women's bodies is like saying if you're not black, you don't have opinions on any black legislation. It seems almost crazy. So there's my little side rant. But can the father of that child then sue her for the same emotional distress trauma? Because he also went through a roller coaster ride that she put him through.
He did go through a crazy one
Yeah, come
where
on now.
you first of all, you're dating, you break up because of this, whatever. You then find out that she's pregnant, you're the father, and then you find out, oh no, she actually slept with someone else while you guys were broken up, and then he's the father, and then later find out that you were the father and your child was aborted. That oof.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, that's a tough
mm.
one. If she wins that lawsuit, I'm monitoring. The moment the payout comes, I'm suing. We both won.
I'm looking up some more quotes from this, and I just saw that they're talking about like what's going on, and he's like, he just cried. You recalled. He asked, "Why would you go through a gender reveal?" I told him because I was positive it was yours. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the DNA place where she allegedly got this done at. Doesn't look like the nicest place in New York. I don't know. I might not have gone
Mm.
here.
You said I don't know.
Oh, she was it was like a 2-day pregnancy termination procedure, and she had a change of heart, but it was too late. Interesting.
Yep, she's lost me.
The results she had given were an IT error. Let's see. They don't know how the error was made.
This was an IT error.
That's what
The
they're
fuck is
saying.
he doing?
I don't know how that happens. That's crazy. All right. Speaking of other like pregnancy stuff, let's get to a story that's developing out in Texas.
Okay.
All right. Here's what's going on. There's a bill coming in the Texas Senate 942, and what it's proposing is that child support should not start at birth but all the way back at conception. So if this bill passes, fathers would be on the hook for medical and pregnancy related expenses from the very beginning. The Texas Senate just passed a bill with a strong majority. I think it was like 21 to 4, and it's now heading to the House for a vote. Um, so basically, if a woman is carrying the child and dealing with all the physical and financial demands of pregnancy, the father should be contributing too. That's what they're thinking. So then there's legal experts are weighing in saying like it reinforces the idea of parental responsibility starts before birth, and then some people are kind of talking about like, hey, are we really like are we talking about life starts at conception then, or are we just going too far? Like, what if you don't know if you're the father of it? Like, are we going to be doing DNA testing to like verify this? Because you're expecting someone to pay child support for like all pregnancy related stuff now. So super interesting to see like what's going to happen with this, and if we're going to start counting child support at conception whenever we're deeming that. Like as soon as someone finds out they're pregnant, you're just on the hook for child support now.
Yeah, to me, I don't 100% love that one. Because I guess my question is, what does on the hook mean? Because if we're saying the moment of conception, like, are we saying that now you've got to cover it on your insurance? She's got insurance. Is this going on her insurance? Is it saying you're solely responsible for the if they choose to go abortion, terminating? How does it work if
Ooh.
like you're involved in the early stages when Shorty thinks she wants the kid, and then New York 20 weeks in she decides she doesn't? Do you get reimbursed for the money you contributed? I just think there's a lot that would then go into that. Maybe let's just leave it on when the kid gets here. Also, like not to be insensitive in any manner. I've had family who's gone through it, so I know it's a very and friends. I know it's a very serious thing. Like, if a miscarriage was to take place, how are we then assessing that? Like, I think this isn't for this isn't for supportive men. The men who want to be
Hmm.
there for their shorties will be there regardless. This is for the ones who are on child support. A lot of times, a rule like this would be for the ones who aren't engaged with the pregnancy or their child anyway, probably don't want to be with the baby mother. So, like, niggas with that mindset, you probably can't then not have the kid for any medical reasons because they're like, yo, what have I been sending this bread to? Like, the kid don't even exist, one. And then two, I think it'd definitely be like harder because like the kid's not here to convince them to like pitch money for things because there's a lot that can go on in pregnancy leading to the 9 months of a kid. So that one I would say I would personally leave alone. I would leave it until the kid is here for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a super big overreach, and I think there's way too many factors before like birth, like you were listing, just with miscarriages, like if someone has to get an abortion, like who knows? There's so many factors that can happen. First of all,
Yeah.
proving that it's like if you're denying it's even your child, or are we doing DNA testing then? Are we doing it when it's born? Like,
I was gonna say because I don't even know how accurate the DNA tests are. I know some people choose to wait. I know some people have been told to wait until it's here. So are we saying that like I got two potential BDs and like both of them contribute until it gets here? I just think this is a
ooh.
mess waiting to happen.
I mean, we just saw in New York that we had tested for not a not born
Yeah,
child, and it came back wrong, IT error. So
yeah. Because then again, it could be a situation where like Shorty thinks you're 100% it. I see it on paternity court all the time. She thinks you're 100% it, and then you're not. Like, do you get that money back? Because the way you get on the hook for child support is you get the DNA test. They put you on the you get on the birth certificate, or you get put on child support from there, or you write your name on the birth certificate. If you write your name on the birth certificate, you're automatically locked in for child support until you get your name removed. So like with no birth certificate, like what is holding them accountable for that child? Yeah, that's an overreach. Child's got to be here. Child's definitely got to be here.
yeah, I'm very surprised that I have to assume because it's in Texas, it's probably big Republican support where they're trying to do like you know life start to conception, so they're really trying to do that. And I'm like, oh, so you guys really do like you're trying to throw money for unborn children, but once it's born, it's like, let's cut all those social safety nets that we have out there. But yeah, I don't I don't even like thinking about. I don't even know how they would really like legislate this and like make sure people are staying on top of it. Like it just sounds like a nightmare waiting to happen.
Yeah, that sounds like more work, and I just don't know if it's like worth it. Because
No.
again, like the same way you can get back child support, it's hard. You can, if we're saying we're going to include that, you can get that when the child is here. You can then get the back child support for the expenses that incurred during that after the child is here. I think it'll be a little trickier because that's probably going to be a little pricey and you're going to be waiting on it. But I think there's a lot of individuals on child support who are like dodging their kids, their BMs, where those are going to be the ones where you're going to be waiting regardless for payments. Like the good
Yeah.
again, the good ones who are in their kids' lives, the fathers of those kids, whether y'all are together or not, they're still gonna like show up and be there financially and like morally for their children. This is for like the small percent of like bad fathers out there that want nothing to do
Yeah,
with you or the baby.
I think the best way they could do it, if they were going to do it, would be like you said, like once it's born and you can prove like DNA testing wise, like verified 100%. Like I think you can go retroactive and be like, like these are all the prenatal vitamins I was doing, like supplements,
Yeah.
classes. Like if we want to go, I don't know how they're going to calculate, what gets included in that and what doesn't, but that's probably better than just like, you know, oh, I'm fucking 6 weeks pregnant here, like the baby was born 6 weeks ago. I want money from whatever happened there. Like that just doesn't make any logical sense.
Fuck. Speaking of kids, like I don't know how we lead this out. Did you see Anthony Edwards' situation?
Where he just I love that he was just
That
like,
nigga's
I just
different.
want to pay it up front.
He's different. His situation where like he said since the start he wanted nothing to do with that kid. The mom was just somebody he was fucking. He wants nothing to do with that kid. The mom, I don't know if you know this, then tried to move to California. She's from Georgia. She tried to move to California because the child support rates are higher in Cali, but the judge out there was like, nah, I'm not going to hear this case. So when she says stuff about not being a gold digger, that's a little crazy. The judge was like, nah, I'm not going to hear this case. The baby was conceived in Georgia. You both resided in Georgia at the time. He still lives in Georgia. You just moved to California. I'm not going to hear the case here. So it did get kicked back to Georgia. Judge did right by them. And this nigga paid all 18 years of child support up front. And I think it's crazy, but if you have it, like go for it. I think it. I don't even think it sets a horrible precedent because, like he said, he was not gonna be in that kid's life anyway. So if you want nothing to do with that kid, and you're like, I could roll off. I think it was a little over $1 million. I could roll off 1 million over 18 years, or I got it and can give it to you right now. Give it to him. I do not hate that. I do not hate that at all. And then there was talks about like he's gonna get a mega contract. He's gonna get more money. Is this fair? And I was like, the going rate to raise a kid is like I think it's a couple of 100,000, if not, if a little less than that. So I was like, if you can't like raise this kid with 1 million, that kid should turn 18 with a $500,000 trust fund. If we're being honest, if you can't raise that kid with over $1 million, you might we might need to like look at your finances anyway.
Yeah, that's why I think he was smart to do it because I think there's been a lot of discussion and I don't think it's really been fully addressed because usually you just kind of people just pay the child support throughout the years, but like people who don't want the kids and don't want to be involved, we're kind of like, all right, like it is what it is. But I kind of like and respect the fact that he was just like, I'm going to pay it all right now at the number you're saying. And then in theory, that should be it. Now, I don't know how that's really going to play out. I feel like at some point she's going to come back and want to ask for more. And I want to see how that gets played out in court because if he paid it all now, why should he have to pay more if it's been decided what his living expenses should be? Like you said, $1 million is a lot. If you have a good financial advisor, you should be
Yeah,
able to like really
that money
make
should
sure you're
make
doing
you
things
money.
correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, with $1 million, that money should make you money. Like, let's say you keep 250 out for the kid, you keep another 250 in the savings account or trust fund for the kid. You put away 100,000 for college. Put the other 400,000 into some high yield. That shit is going to make you money year over year. So she should be good. Will she? Probably not. Um, I was seeing stuff loosely where they were saying it might be like a not an NDA because they were allowed to disclose it, but something of the sort where she signed like this is all I can ask for, like this upfront money. It's kind of like a prenup or some shit, like where they agreed this is like the only time she could take them for money for child support. I don't know how true or untrue that is. I think it kind of has to be because again, it was her number. He agreed to that number and then paid it, and then pretty much right after that is when she started to like second guess that number. It seems, and that's because he's supposed to get a mega contract next year, so he's about to get a lot richer than he currently is. But again, that's his money. He's earned that money to some capacity, and you knew what type of nigga this was. This nigga already got kids he don't take care of, and
Yeah.
he's a kid
Does he?
himself. He's like 22, 23. Yeah, he's already got kids. He's got
What?
one that he does take care of, and then I think he's got another one or two. I think he got a kid at the same time as this kid.
What?
Yeah, like this nigga's wild. So this was
He has
like year
4
two.
kids by
Yeah,
4 different women.
and I think there's one that he claims that's like his
He
girlfriend's kid. I want to say
he's
the other.
23.
Yeah, the other three I don't think he's involved with. I think he's okay with like nutting his shorties and paying them $1 million here and there. His financial advisor needs to speak to him because this is stupid, but he's got it.
Oh.
Like if that's what he wants to do, at some point I've got to look at you who is way older than him and say like, you kind of knew what this was, and at the end of the day, your child won. Your child, if you financially set this up right, is going to be set and have a head start in life. The only way your child loses is if you squander his money.
I did not
That
oh,
and like he's not gonna know he has a dad. Like he'll never know his dad. He loses the dad aspect. Yeah, he got
I
kids.
did
This is like his thing. Like having kids and not taking care of them. He would rather just pay the child support, which
I
is
just
it's
don't
crazy because like I, there's a cheaper option. Like
yeah.
put on the condom. If you don't even want to put on a condom, like make them like get on birth control and sign an NDA or something saying that they are, or like to not be graphic, but we're a graphic podcast. Like nigga, pull out. Is it worth spending millions of dollars every time you want a nut in a shorty? Like that's crazy.
There's no I this is blowing my mind that he has 4
But
kids, dude, at 23.
that should tell you everything you need to know. Like great basketball player, he's hilarious. He's wild as hell, little country city nigga though, wild as hell. But that should tell you everything you need to know about like where he is maturity. Like you can't
She's
have a family with
38?
this nigga. Yes, I told you she's mad older than him.
Yeah, I mean,
like, and she
I
knew
don't
this
wanna
about him
call
already.
it what it
It
is,
was
but
gold digging, and she knew this about him already.
yeah.
And I think she got a baby by another celebrity already. No, she does have a baby by another celebrity. I just can't remember which one it is.
Damn, she should have already moved
It's
to California then,
it's
she would
not
have
Chris
known.
Brown. Who the fuck is her other baby daddy? It's not the Migos. It's somebody. Who is Anthony Edwards BM
See,
other baby
this is
head?
why, like, this shit, it's like you don't wanna be like an
Lil baby.
asshole about it. Little baby?
Lil baby is her other baby daddy.
What what is with, like, athletes and celebrities, like, passing around the same women and having children with them? What is going on with that?
It's cause once you they kind of talked about it on Pivot. back in the not pivotal. I am athlete back in the day. Don't watch those boys anymore. And they refer to it in the game, the TV show, where they talk about like once you're like in that club, you know what comes with it. Like they know how to act at these parties. They know like the expectation of being with an athlete, a rapper. I think it's easy to stay in those circles. And then once you get in those circles, when things don't work out with you and that man, like you've been able to kind of network with other rich niggas that are gonna be in those same type of circles. Like other athletes, other rappers, shit like that. And after you date a millionaire, I'm not it's definitely like gold digger adjacent, but like after you date a millionaire, like you was dating Lil Baby, kind of run Atlanta. What could you possibly do from there? You gotta upgrade. Like you could take a little fall off, but like niggas got bread, so you had to go get another man with bread to even like maintain your quality of life.
How much is she getting from Lil Baby in child support?
Oh, what it is, but I know Lil Baby don't fuck with her either.
That's probably the red flag, though. Like, if these people aren't fucking with this person, like, if you want to date them, fine. But I don't know why you're getting people pregnant like this.
2K. Lil
2K a
Baby pays
month.
2K a month. So it's at 24 a year. So he's gonna pay 432 over that 18 years. So this shorty's got money coming in. Like
Yeah, listen, she. This is crazy, man.
no, it's
Stop
insanity.
getting
And I
people
told you.
pregnant.
And again, like she is 38 and Anthony Edwards is 23.
Listen, if that was a man doing that to a woman, people have a lot of things to say about it. I'll
They
leave it
would
at
have a
that.
ton of things to say about it.
Yeah, that's weird. That shit's weird, man. That's weird.
Nah, I absolutely agree. It's weird. It's beyond weird. It's predatory.
That's yeah. Listen, I at least like he paid it out. He didn't want to be part of it. Cool. It is what it is. I'll interested to see if anything comes up in the years of her trying to get more money and how that plays out. I mean, I think based on what it sounds like, she shouldn't, but we'll see how the course of them goes because we know how that shit goes. But it's also just I think I saw something where Kanye pays like 200K a month in child support, something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised he's a billionaire.
I just like I think we like I don't understand how we don't have I guess like Kanye and Kim is a little bit
Regulation.
different. Yeah. Like there's a little bit
If I'm being
different because of
honest,
how much they make.
even with that, for situations like that, I don't know why there's child support included. Like we didn't work, let's split. When I see my daughters, when I see her, when you see her, when she sees her, I think child support was made for like regular people who need the assistance. Why are celebrities who have money paying other celebrities who have money? Like we got billionaires paying other billionaires child support. Like that to me, that transaction doesn't make sense. And we've got away from what matters, which is like the support of that child. Like that needs to be more of the custody agreement and when he's with mom and when he's with dad. There don't need to be money involved in that.
Yeah. Like that's I mean that's so much if that's true. That's what Kanye said and
Yeah.
we who knows what Kanye's on now fucking days, dude. Who knows what
I would
is
believe
actually
it.
real in his life. I
I would
mean,
for sure believe it. Just the income he has alone is probably gonna put him in that price range.
God,
And they were
this
married. So that also is probably gonna take a hit, whereas this is like some hookup for him.
yeah, I wonder if he gets hit with any alimony payments on top of that. Although she makes so much
If
money
he's
with
paying
Skims alone.
alimony, that would be insane.
Yeah. Dude, child support. Oh God. All right. Last thing I have before we hit real ones only. This is a bit I've been workshopping and thinking about, and I'm really surprised that like no one in like this Trump administration has come up with this. I
Mhm.
don't know how they have not thought about the idea of putting tariffs on adopting kids from outside of the US. It's like such a win-win of like adopt American first or adopt America first. Like we have a lot of kids in the foster system who are put up for adoption that are not getting adopted. So like in theory this could actually be really good for our system as a whole, but
It
it's
could.
just crazy to me no one has thought like, "Hey, let's put tariffs on adopting, kids from different countries to make people adopt US kids more." I think it's such an easy layup for them to think about. I'm surprised no one has brought it up.
I don't hate that. I was gonna ask, do we like know the rate that like people outside the country are being adopted? But there's definitely a ton in America that need homes. So I do agree, like we should adopt here first, and then I would have questions for those who are like adopting outside of the country because that gives like fetish adjacent. Like you're fetishizing like what, having an Asian child or having a European kid. Because if your goal is to like adopt a kid and give them a good home, why are you not adopting somebody like from your community, from your state? Like, why are we going countries away to bring kids? That would be my question. Would be like, what is your purpose?
So it looks like there was a big drop off actually. Looking at numbers
Good.
from like 1999 to 2022, it's a little older, but like at the peak, we adopted about 22,000 kids in 2004. As of 2022 is only 1,500. So maybe it's a small market.
I like it.
I know there's tax refunds and like not tax refunds, like tax credits you can get for adopting kids. But I feel like this is also a great opportunity to like increase those for adopting kids within the US. 40%. They come from Colombia, India, South Korea. Interesting. Yeah.
You said the
Yeah.
top was South Korea.
Colombia, where is it? Colombia, India, and South Korea. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought
Yeah,
it was a good
Colombia is
bit.
interesting. The India and South Korea I can see. The Colombia kind of throws me a little bit because one, like, I don't ever like to talk about a place and like be a negativity highlighter. I was actually talking to my boss about that a couple of weeks ago. Joe Budden uses that term a lot, just the negativity highlighters. I don't ever want to talk about a place and talk about like the bad first. But when I think of Colombia, I do think about like the violence that is within Colombia, the drug trade, just the crimes, all in all. So for Colombia, it's I would not expect Colombia to be on the list for America. That would have been like Colombia and Venezuela probably would have been like the least of the South American countries I would have imagined being on a top adopted list. Colombia, that's crazy. That is actually super surprising.
Yeah, not sure where that one comes from. So it looks like looking at some numbers that I'm looking at on some random websites, so who knows how true this is. At some point when this graphic was made, there was 391,000 kids in foster care, and then apparently 115,000 are adopted each year. So we got to get those numbers up for sure.
No, we definitely do.
So really, I gave the Trump administration a layup. Just make America or adopt America first initiative and put tariffs on the low numbers of adoptions that are happening outside the US. So it makes it look like you're doing something when you're really not, which is like what they do with the tariffs anyway.
No, literally.
All right. Anything else before we get into some real ones only talk?
Mm, nah. I think that's about all I got. That's about all.
All right. Couple things that I saw. I saw something the other day where someone was trying to sell a service saying it's as cheap as a cup of coffee a day. I think we have to stop using that phrase. Coffee's like not that cheap anymore to just say that. Like that's a couple bucks easy a day, which is not nothing in today's day and age.
Well, you said what?
Like someone's trying to sell a service and they're like, "Oh, it's as cheap as like a cup of coffee a day." And I'm like, "That's not necessarily cheap, especially depending on where you go." So we can't just throw that
Yeah,
phrase around like it's very cheap anymore.
I was gonna say that's like $50.
Yeah. Like,
You know what? Actually, I hate when they do that because I've seen commercials and they're like for as little as $4 a day when they're like, and then it'll show it at the end and it's like the month rate. And I was like, nigga, let them know that that's $124 a month. Like
yeah, it's four
for
dollars a day
those
is
who are like,
14.60 a year.
yeah, I was like, for those in a bind, like when you say $4 a day, it's like whatever. But once you hear 114, it's like, wait a second, that's a bill. That's car insurance. That's like your
Yeah,
electric, your Wi-Fi.
yeah, like that shit is fucking crazy to me. This is my yearly PSA to everybody. It's getting nice outside, and I just want to say this. If your dog is reactive to the sight or sound of other dogs, you can't just leave the window open. You definitely can't just leave them on like your balcony at your apartment unattended because there is no reason that your dog should be freaking out as I'm trying to walk my dog by and you're not there to police it. We got to have some responsibility from dog owners, and then in these times when it's nice out, everybody wants to walk. I don't want to get barked at, and you're making my dog freak out because you can't control your dog. If your dog can't be well behaved on its own, don't just leave it outside to bark for fucking hours. PSA of the year.
No, I agree.
Do you guys have a balcony at your place in Cleveland?
We do not.
Oof,
We
brother.
do not. Yeah, the windows do open though, but I am trying to figure out like where I'm gonna get these cigars in.
Do you guys have a lot of newer buildings have like rooftops? Do you have a rooftop out there?
Ours, I don't think ours has a rooftop. But some of the old ones we were looking into did have a rooftop. I gotta check. I don't think it has a rooftop though, because I feel like that would have been something they tried to show me.
Hmm. Could have been
But
too
all
cold.
rooftops also aren't created even. I've seen some trash rooftops.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Actually, that's something I need to follow up with. I feel like a rooftop would be like goaded, but I don't remember it during the tour, and I absolutely feel like she would have said if they had a rooftop. That's
Yeah,
something you
and
kind of like lead with low key.
unless the weather's really shitty, they might not want to take you out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely have to follow up on that.
Last thing that happened, went to an improv show in DC this past week. Um, so afterwards, we got some people. We're like, oh, let's get some food. We go to a nearby venue or a restaurant. I don't think I've ever like been to a place where whatever you ask for, the waitress is just telling you they don't have it or have never had it. There was a drink on the menu that had Red Bull in it that like specifically was called like it was like a Red Bull rum or something. The waitress looked and with a straight face said, "I've never seen Red Bull in this restaurant in my life." And like I just don't know how that's possible when you have a drink on your menu that is called something with Red Bull.
He's just never seen it. That's
It
actually
was
a
like
little. Did
it
you
was
ask her then, like, what is in this?
sh it was just like it was we had already asked for a couple things that she just said they didn't have. Oh, we're out of this. We're out of this. Like there's like 10 things on the menu. They're out of half of it. So once she
I
gets
get that.
to I've never seen a Red Bull in here before, it's like I'm not even gonna bother like following up on this anymore.
Nah, I get that. I actually hate that. I hate that
The
for
f-
y'all.
the food
But
was
also,
actually
like, who the
pretty
fuck was
decent
ordering a drink
overall.
without Red Bull?
It was actually a mocktail for what it was.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah. But it was even like, you got Coke Zero? No. I have Diet Coke. Do you have like two different mocktails? No. Do you have a ginger ale? I can do that. Like, cool. It was just one of those days. Um, anything else before we wrap this thing up?
Nothing at all.
Gotcha. Ezra will be on the road, so if you're interested in seeing him, reach out because he might be in one of your cities eventually.
I truly might. I did link up with the boys in Philly, Rick and Anshu, a few weeks back.
When were you in
They're
Philly?
living.
Oh, you flew to Philly or something, didn't you?
Yeah, I flew to Philly. Fuck yeah, I flew to Philly. Because as soon as I came back from Baltimore area, I went back to Cleveland, and then on Tuesday went right out to Philly. So yeah, I was out there, got with the boys. They're good. They're good. I tried to get with Rob. We tried to get Rob to come out. Rob didn't come out. Rob, just know you're not beating the allegations of coming places when you're invited. Did try to get Rob to come out. Didn't see him. What else
I
was
hate that for
there?
Rob.
Outside of that, I'm just trying to. I don't really know that many people left in Atlanta. I think the last. Yeah, I don't know a ton of people left in Atlanta, so I'm probably not linking with anybody while I'm down here. But if you're in Atlanta, let me know. Actually, by the time this comes out, I'll be gone hopefully. So don't let me know.
You'll be back.
I will be back in 2 weeks' time. I will be flying that time.
All right, let's get to some music and TV.
All right, music. I'm going to go with "Proud of Me" by Friday and Meek Mill, and then TV. Got to go with 1923. The next saga of Yellowstone just wrapped up the series finale. It was fucking great. An hour and 50 minutes, no commercials. Felt almost like a movie. It was outstanding. And they have announced, because it ends with them tying up everything, but you're left wanting more. They have announced that they have approved 1944 coming soon. And if those who know Yellowstone, Yellowstone started with Yellowstone in current time, and then 1881 came out for a season. They tied up that story, went into 1923, which had 2 seasons, which they started from the beginning saying was going to have. 1923 has been tied up. Now it's going to get to 1944, which will be the Great Depression era and World War. So trying to maintain Yellowstone during that time period, I know is going to be great.
What the fuck? Like, don't give me the spoilers because I feel like I have to watch it because you. This is all you
Gotcha.
rave about. Give me like a very high level summary of what the fuck Yellowstone is.
Yellowstone is about a family, the Duttons, trying to keep ownership of their ranch in Yellowstone Park, so Montana, and the climate of whatever era you start in. So for the actual like first one, Yellowstone is 2025, so they're facing things like the Indians wanting to take back the natives wanting to like file lawsuits and sanctions to get their land back. They're dealing with outsiders trying to come in and build casinos out there with the natives. They're dealing with people wanting to put airports there because like just things that niggas will want to use your land for. And then just the ranch cowboy aspect of like what it takes to be a rancher or cowboy is full of drama. It's full of scandal. It is probably, to me, top two series ever made. When it was
Mm.
just Yellowstone, I would probably say top five. But once you include like the prequels as well, I'd probably say it's top two, maybe one. It's already past for me Game of Thrones. It's past Scandal. It's past those other ones to me that would have been in my top five. Yeah, Yellowstone might be the greatest thing to hit TV.
Do you think now that you've watched the original, like the original and the prequels, would you recommend watching it in like time order or just how they came out?
That's what I was telling Mariah. Once they're all out, it'll be great to go back and watch in order. Even if you watched it now, if you watched it in order, it makes sense. So like the things that happened in 1881, 1923 are all things that like are talked about loosely by the time you get to Yellowstone. So if you
Mm.
watch it backwards, you'll still like understand it and get it. And the story's far enough removed where it doesn't impact like the actual story. Because it's the first gap is 40 years between the two, and then from 1923 to Yellowstone is like 80 years. But with them coming out with 44, it's still like a 20-year gap.
Hmm.
So
All
there's
right.
gaps in between it where like the story, it's fine if you don't watch it in order.
Final question for you: how is your watching of the Marvel Cinematic Universe been going? Still
Had to put it on pause because I was gone for a while. I think the last I checked, we were 13 in. So we will pick back up on that.
awesome. All right, music wise, I'm gonna go with "Teach Me How to Love" by Gaudive. I think I don't know what how to pronounce their name yet. Galdive. Good little vibe. Check it out. Great song. TV wise, we started watching Temptation Island last night, like the original one on from like USA on Peacock. And then watched the movie Sweethearts on Max. Good little like rom com vibe. Different vibe for sure. So if you're looking for that, that's there. Anyway, we're gonna
You
wrap
ever
this
watch
thing
The
up. Thank you for
List?
what?
Did you and your girl watch The List?
The list
Yeah, y'all gotta watch The List on Netflix, dog. Y'all got to. It almost made me cry. I was,
is
I think I teared up at some parts. It was highs and lows. It was a roller coaster of
it's
emotion.
called The List.
Hmm.
There was one we watched recently. It was something list related.
Was it on Netflix? That might have been it for real.
Yeah, the life list.
Is it The Life List? What is that? Is that about the girl?
The girl whose mom passes
Yeah.
in
Oh,
the
is it The
13-year year
Life
old
List?
list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lifeless was actually good. That's a good recommendation. I was thinking for mine. Lifeless was a good movie. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I was all over the place.
Yeah, yeah, that was a fucking good movie.
Yeah. Netflix has got before we end. I think Netflix at one point kind of like got off the beaten drum and was just putting out a lot of bad movies because like
Hmm.
they were just signing movie deals, generating the money and throwing movies out there. I do think in like the last 2 or 3 years, they've kind of reined it back in. And like once you see a Netflix movie in the top 10, it's probably a good movie. Because there was a point where they had Bird Box and shit where like a Netflix original movie was fucking fire. And then it
Hmm.
fell off when they started paying Jamie Foxx and Adam Sandler 5 year movie deals for fucking $500 million. They were putting out shit, but he did come back around with Hidden Gem to me, and then I think it's Hustle or Hustler, and then I
Hmm.
also think Kevin Hart's movie deals with Netflix was good. The one where he takes care of the old guy, the wheelchair old guy, and then I think Fatherhood was good. And then I think
Hmm.
recently, like the last 3 or 4 Netflix originals I've watched have actually been pretty good.
Yeah, they it fluctuates. Like we're trying to find movies yesterday, and I feel like I've watched a lot of good rom coms, and I'm like just trying to find anything that I haven't seen that doesn't look like absolute garbage, which is it's tough nowadays.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah. All right, wrap this thing up. Thank you for listening. As always, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Porch Talk No A. There's an Apple Podcast, there's on Spotify. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a like there. Like, comment, do all the damn things everywhere. You can watch on Spotify. You can watch on YouTube. We'll be back soon. We'll be back 2 weeks potentially. We'll see. Stuff's in the horizon. Coals in the fire. Peace.